What's behind mystery box, aka pan number 1? Or the last time we looked at this is when it was in the M class. So we haven't cracked this open, opened this at all. The only thing I did today was I pressure washed. You can see I still got a little bit of residue here I need to get off. And you can listen to the rain while I take this apart and you start investigating. There we go. Okay. We'll find some tools. Good fit right there. T30. And on my spool. Get this pan off. There's a little bit of water in here while I was washing it. But I knew I was taking the paint right off, so wasn't really that worried about it. Keep in mind, I didn't do anything to this. All we did was open it up and we looked at it. Okay, that's all we did. There's nothing on the magnet. It's all clean. And I didn't clean this either. There's a little bit of water in here from where the water seeped in while I was washing it, but other than that, it's the way it was. What do you see missing here, folks? Right here. Filter. No freaking filter. Not a single one. There's no filter in here anywhere. Which means they never installed a filter when they replaced the conductor plate. They never replaced the filter. Anyhow. Did everything up. So you didn't do that. That's low. Selectable shift, right? Pick up the contacts right here. Is that the little float meter or what is that? Not exactly for sure what that is. I gotta look up the manual on this. I can't remember exactly what the sequence is to take this apart. But we need to get this apart so we can get to the conductor plate, make sure it is new, so we can see if there's a date or something on it, so I can make sure it was replaced. And if it wasn't replaced, I need to order one. I didn't order one. I did order a filter change kit for this, which is a new plug and new seals, new filter or new pan gasket. But other than that, it's the guy told me that I bought it from that he replaced the conductor plate, and that's when it went really crazy. It was in limp mode, replaced the conductor plate, and then when they put it back together, took it for a test drive, and it wouldn't move at all. So it wouldn't go into gear. Same issue I had first day I had it. So what I initially, when I took this pan off, I didn't notice that it was missing a filter. I didn't notice, and so I'm thinking that they just simply forgot to put the filter back in when they were putting it back together. That's my theory. I don't know that for sure, but that's just my theory. Simple mistake, but caused the vehicle to be parked under a tree in the woods for several years before I got my hands on it. Okay, after looking at my workshop manual for seemed like forever, I couldn't find anything specific to removing the valve body and conductor plate. All I could find was like operation stuff, so testing procedures and all that crap. So I didn't really find anything, but I looked up Monkey Wrench Mike. Thanks, Monkey Wrench Mike. And it looked super easy. So now, I think the first thing he did was remove this plug over here. I've never done this before, so I have to figure it out as we go. 7mm works perfectly. Put this in here. Okay, everything he said on here is basically a T30. I'm gonna take his word for it. He's a Mercedes man. I believe he said there are there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts that need to come off of here. That sure was really tight. I can tell all the bolts have been touched, for sure. Somebody's been here. Oh, look at this one. That one was loose, and it's missing a chunk out of it. What the heck? This looks like this one's got a nail catcher too. Look at this. Look at this. What the heck is going on with that? Huh. I have to put that in the grinder. And it's like almost every one of these has the same problem. This one's loose. Okay. Why are these loose? Why are they missing stuff? The mystery continues. That one was loose as well. Last one. Okay. That is so weird. That's the last bolt. Now we can get this whole assembly out. This is the conductor plate. The whole 9. And what do we got? What do we got? I think I gotta put these two little caps off so I can see what's there. Pretty sure that's not where it's supposed to be. You seeing this? Look, isn't that supposed to be in this little thing? Right there? It shows. Oh. Huh. Okay. Well, that's suspicious. I'm going to put this cap off right here. Put it over here. It does look new. I mean, it doesn't look old. There's no manufacturer info right there, so that tells me that it's definitely been replaced. It's clean. I mean, this little plunger right here looks really clean. I don't know, maybe, it's all like kind of cracked looking. Wonder how old this conductor plate is. I don't know. A little concerning. There's a little bit of crud right here, but it's not bad. There's no chunks. No chunks anywhere. It's all clean. It's all clean. You can see the gears in here. It all looks fine. They actually look really good. Nothing looks burnt. Really happy with how that looks. Yeah. Interesting. Alright. Okay. I mean, I really kind of feel like that this is probably perfectly fine. If they put these little things in here correctly, then it's gonna be just fine. So let's just soak up some of that fluid there. welded a little bit. Gently here. Put this puppy on. That's not a certain way it goes. You can't mess that up. Just like that. All right, this is probably a little bit overkill, but I polished the AC lines, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is where the AC lines actually attach to the firewall over here. I had a little problem last night as I was putting everything together. You can see everything is nicely polished, and I was freaking putting these AC lines into the expansion joint right here, or the expansion valve, and I had this problem. And man, when this happened, I just kind of like sat back, put my face in the palms of my hands, and just wept. But this right here happened. You can see that there's the rest of the line is inside the expansion valve, and it broke off right here. So you can see the O-ring compressed inside there, but that whole thing just came right off the end of this this nipple that goes into the expansion valve. Broke right off. So this morning I had to go pull a new to me line for the smaller one, and now I gotta polish it. So I just got it cleaned up, and so let's get that polished real quick and get this line right here swapped out with it's not so broken. You know, not so broken. He don't need to be broken in there. But engine bay is coming together magically. I'll tell you, that universal joint right there for the steering shaft, one of the hardest things I've ever tried to remove. And also found at the junkyard is a new oil filter housing because I broke mine. So now I can swap this one out right here. Well, it's stuck on here. How do those get so stuck? I didn't even tighten it up. I just hand tightened. It's just hung. So I got to swap this one out with that one. That's just a cap from E-Class with a cooler I thought would fit on this, but it does not fit on this. So you can tell it's a little bit taller. This is taller than that one. But the reach inside this thing is only like that much in the E-Class, whereas that one, you can see that thing goes all way down in there, which is crazy. But anyways, then the other thing that I got to do is, since I'm going to be running this intake plenum, the map sensor goes right here instead of like hanging right here off to the side. So the plug from the factory on the M-Class for the map sensor is like right here somewhere. It's right in this location. But I'm going to have to take that harness apart, which is, where's that plug at? From here somewhere. This one right here. So this plug right here, I've got to remove from this harness all the way back to back here somewhere, all the way back to where it goes in. I got to shorten it all the way to back here, and that way it's going to plug in like back, like right here somewhere, right here. And I put new vacuum lines on here. I'm going to have to since the factory ones are like this kind of plasticky material with joints on it, so it gotta go around everything. It's like this. So you got the joints. So there's little joints like that. You can see where they match up to squares. That's what they look like right there. So there's one of those little nipples right there, male to male, in this other section right here. This end right here is the end that always breaks. It's attached to the aluminum right here. It always breaks off. You can't get it off. And so does this one right here. That one doesn't never come off. So I ran just some generic. I had some extra A163 is for a W163. I'm not sure where I got this hose from, but it was a very, very, very tight fit over the nipples, so I know they're not going to come off. But I got rid of this complicated craziness right here. I did keep this section right here, since it does have like a little nipple that goes down into the throttle body, and then has this back section that attaches to this thinner deal right here. So this right here is part of that. This thing right here goes inside there, you know, and then the other part of it, this right here, attaches to where the throttle body is. The throttle controls right there. It attaches to that little thing sticking up. But it attaches in that little hole right there. So yeah, that's where that goes. The only other thing is I don't know what that nipple right there goes to. Haven't figured that one out yet. I'm not exactly for sure where it goes. Not seeing any other locations for any other vacuum lines. I know for a fact that it goes to something. I just don't remember what. So I got to figure out what goes to that little nipple. But as far as everything else, I mean, the EGR is installed. Everything's good there. All the hoses are brand new. This is the hose right here that when I was taking this engine apart, if you remember and look back, maybe I'll put a clip right here. And I see a problem already right now. Look at this hose right here. Tell me if you think the EGR system is working properly. That right there, I mean, I could probably just, wow. See? That's why I want to go through a 22-year-old vehicle's engine, and that's why I've got the engine out, is because I want to go through things like this right here. For instance, is a perfect example of why I want to go through it. So, somewhere so you can see this. But this one right here was the one that you should check on your M-Class right now. Go out there and check this hose. And this one right here was just completely rotted away. And every one of them that I've seen in the junkyard, this is rotted away. But everything else is pretty much coming together like it should. I've got to, obviously I got to redo this harness right here. No big deal. This other sensor on the front side, let me see if I can crawl over here without dying. It's close quarters right now because I've got everything out so I can get this engine back in. This sensor right here does not seem to be the one that goes here from the factory that I pulled off of here, because I have a different connector. I don't have this connector. Same wire colors, different connector. So I'm not sure what's going on there. God bless America, this thing is tall now. How about that right there? I put this thing up with the wheel stands. Let's get the transmission installed. Lickety split. Break it. Clean it up. It's heavier than it looks. Doesn't say to me. Knee hurts. Knee hurts. Okay. Engine is in, transmission is in, transfer case is in, but we want to do a first start on this awesome looking freaking M-Class. So I need to put some gas in here, gasoline, some 93 octane, and give her a crank and see if she cranks up now that we've got the first turnover out of the way. I went ahead today. This morning, I went ahead and plugged in, let's see, what's this plug right here? No wonder the throttle control was giving me an error. Gonna plug that in. Okay, I'm glad I saw that. I think I unplugged that because I was gonna be doing some cutting over there. I got some fresh Mobile One 5W40 European car formula. I've got about 7 or 8 quarts in there. I think it takes 8.5 quarts. It takes 9 quarts of transmission fluid, and I put 5 in there. The service manual calls for 5 on first startup. After draining transmission fluid, calls for 5. And I don't have my upper radiator hose for some reason. I ordered one, and I'm pretty sure I did, and that's kind of a head scratcher for me because I have a brand new lower radiator hose, and this hose is brand new. I don't have this hose, but the thing is, my intake plan to use the intake plenum from one of the cars, I think I got it off a C-Class. You can obviously see isn't going to work because the coolant reservoir is in the way. So I'm going to have to get a different coolant reservoir. Now I have room here because I'm going to use a different intake plenum. I got space here, so I can put a coolant overflow tank here. And I want to do away with this little pump, the auxiliary pump, and just redo all the hoses. And so I haven't done anything. I haven't purchased any more of the hoses because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do until now. So I'm pretty sure I know what to do now that I cut part of that piece off. I want to see if there's a different one on the C-Class for that. But right now, I'm gonna plug this harness in over here. I don't know how I missed that. Now I know why there was a code on this. Part of this connector kind of broke off. Sorry for the flickering. I'm gonna turn this stupid light off. There we go. That Milwaukee 18 volt light has a weird flashing sensation when I'm recording for some reason. Okay. So that harness plug right there, it broke off. And my little overflow nipple right here, somewhere right here, I think I feel it right there. My little overflow nipple right there, it just broke off a while ago too. So my plan of possibly getting to drive this thing today is without leaking coolant is not going to happen, because I'm going to have to leak some coolant in order to drive it, and it's because it's probably going to pressurize the system with coolant, and when it does that, it's going to squeeze it right out of that hole over there. I'm not sure if I can seal it up, but I may try at least. So let's hook the battery up here, and then so I got the battery connected. These battery cables are connected. I got a trio right here. I'm going to get some different battery terminals. I'm not happy with these, and I got the aluminum coated connectors, so I'm going to change out these copper ones with the aluminum coated ones, so they all look OEM looking. So I'm going to change those out because I don't like those. Anyways, let's let me go over and get some gasoline and fill it up and put you on a tripod and see if this thing cranks. Would you look at that beautiful sky today? I've got something special for this car today. We've got wheels and tires to put on. Make this thing look a little bit more authentic. And wheel spacers, obviously. Got 50mm 2-inch wheel spacers we're gonna put on. Got my tape measure here. Let's measure how much lift this gives us by adding the wheels, tires, the taller tires. Let's see here. Let's go by the top of the mirror. We're at what, about 53? So we're about 53 to the top of the mirror. And let's see, let's go by the wheels. We're at, this is stock height, about 34 and a half. in the front. And this one we're at 33 and 3/4. So put the new wheels and tires on and see where we're at after. Here's your comparison of the factory size wheel and tire and the factory size wheel with an aftermarket mud tire. It's a LT 265 75/16 Thunder Track Grip MT, and you can tell it is quite larger. So okay, here's with the new hub-centric wheel spacer. Bought these from eBay. They were roughly $275. Probably the most expensive thing I've spent on this entire build to date are these dang wheel spacers. Well, I say that. The tires were about $1,000, but these wheel spacers were crazy expensive for what they were, because I could buy wheel spacers for that Lincoln Town Car right there for like 150 bucks. Same exact size, 50 millimeter. And yeah, so that's pretty crazy, but that's about 2 inches of spacing. Grab my tape measure again. Now let's see how tall it is. Alright, now the top of the mirror is 54, roughly 54 and a half. Okay, front fender to ground is even 36, and the back is 35 and a half. So there's a half inch, a little bit more. There's a half inch more in the front than the back. Can't wait to get the fender flares on, because it looks a little funny when I'm sticking out at the moment, but I like it. It looks better than it did before with those wheels over there on it. Man, that looks freaking cool.